15.
Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Put in the Book show. As always, we say ish at the end of our times to start our shows. 6:14 as we hit the airwaves, good old airwaves here. I am Steve. I got Keith.
Boom!
Right
on the
over
dial.
here.
Not
Boom!
only the airwaves, but thank you for tuning in to us on the dial.
Tuning into the dial? Look at that.
He doesn't even know what he's saying.
I got
Talk Spanglish.
Mr. Rodriguez right down there. What's up, good, kind sir? How's everything going?
Well, you're wrong about a couple of things, but welcome.
Good and
everyone.
kind, yeah.
Hey there, Farachi.
Good and
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a liar.
And
that's one thing I'm not.
And back we have a voice that we haven't heard from in a few weeks, but if you knock back there, might be busy doing his Wordle puzzle for the day, but he might be paying attention to what's going on in the show.
He might be playing
Producer Joe, what's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up?
I'm the here. Voice is back and Sergio's here.
Finally.
Why don't you go ahead and Morning Wood. We're bringing the energy today, Terzio. So I think we've all had a double dose of that Morning Wood.
Wordle.
Producer Joe, get us started here, baby.
I don't need that yet.
Put up the box.
And look at that, a pleasant welcome back in, folks. Cowbell Ed is here. That was great. That was great timing there. We've got the timing down this week. Welcome back in, everybody. As always, Steve, Keith, and Rodriguez with producer Joe behind the wall there. So much stuff to talk about. But before we go ahead and get started there, you might be wondering what that code down there at the bottom is. Keith, talk to him about the code.
I think we should pre-record this and just boom, kind of just roll into it like we do with the opening credit. What do you think about that?
I would love it.
I guess we could talk about it in production meetings.
Let's do it.
I mean,
let's do it right now. Record
the uniqueness every time is fun, but we can always say, tune in to your website, www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. Only the finest coffee, only the finest beans, only the finest everything are hand selected for you and you alone. When you go to www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com, you can be sure you're getting the best of the best. And then even better than that, because they roast it to order. When you order a bag of brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com, your coffee comes to you within 24 hours of its roast date. Well, let me say it's shipped within 24 hours of its roast date.
Wow.
And there's some delicious flavors out there, kind of like Bananarama. Joe's favorite. Joe loves bananas and he likes the Rama. Banana. Bananarama. It is actually a delicious flavor.
Such an immature show. We have such an immature show. It's all giggling about that.
Another favorite of mine is Cinnabuzz. It's 50% more caffeine. You can add 50% more caffeine to any flavor that's available out there. So if you need a little extra kick in the ass in the morning, do it. 50% more, baby. There's also out there, it's delicious, it's dark, it's roasted, and it's chocolate.
Pretty damn sexy too.
Dark chocolate roasted. Coffee, chocolate, and it has it's probably you got to be careful how much you drink of that though, right? Faraj, deepen your voice. Let me hear. Come on.
Absolutely zero.
Ooh, he went the whole Clint Eastwood route. I like that.
Pretty cool.
Pretty good.
Dirty Farachi. Isn't that like a Mexican move or something?
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry, guys. Let me just wrap this up because there's a lot of Mets baseball talk. Let me wrap this up. There is a lot of delicious flavors out there. www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com. I definitely recommend you check them out. And if you act today and you use the code PopCulturePros, all capital letters, you get a third bag free. Again, all this coffee is roasted and shipped within 24 hours of its roast date, so it comes to you fresh. You're not going to get that at any grocery store. Check them out today. Again, that is www.brooklynwatercoffeeroasters.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Keith. Nice. That is so greatly appreciated. Some comments going on, Terzio and Cowbell. And Terzio wants to know about Conforto. We'll get to all that. Rudy, that's a new name. Rudy, welcome in. I apologize in advance for these guys. But let's talk about
what you talking about, boy?
Let's talk about
sex, baby. Let's talk about
arbitration, guys. Arbitration. A lot of fun.
This is a baseball show, Keith.
This is a baseball show, Keith.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Rodriguez. Thank you. So some arbitration news. Most of the guys on the list that were, the annual arbitration hearing, we try to avoid arbitration. Most of the guys on the list got either what they were asking for or a scotch more. And this is maybe it's a Steve Cohen thing, making sure that we don't get to arbitration. We have bigger things to worry about than having to go to an arbiter about money. So it just run down here. So Pete Alonso will not win the home run derby this year and get a check that's bigger than his salary. He gets $7.4 million, which is absolutely deserving.
A bargain.
That's a bargain. That's Walmart bargain bin right now. Right?
I was almost surprised.
Hell yeah!
Hell yeah!
What?
Hell yeah!
What?
I was almost surprised at what he got, considering if we can just jump. I'm not sure what your next person is. What a certain person in the bullpen got.
Yes. Yeah, that's next. So, okay, so we go into the closer. Are you talking about Diaz? Okay.
Diaz, yep.
Yeah. So Diaz goes and he gets $10.2 million in avoiding arbitration. And
that's a good deal, man, for a guy that could save you 40 to 45 games. Those are
and he's gotten better. He's gotten better each year, right? His strikeout rate fell a little bit last year, but he was throwing harder than he ever was before. His slider was on most of the time, whereas we know what happened back then a couple of years ago. So between Pete Alonso, who we've seen get you 50 home runs, and Edwin Diaz as closer at 10.2, you're at 17.6. Guy that can give you 50 home runs, much better defense than what we were led to believe. Right. And then a guy who is great out of the pen that can shut another team down. Yes, he will give up the gopher ball every now and then, hopefully a little bit less this year. But for $17 million, you got these two guys that are fantastic on both sides of the ball.
Right.
2 all-stars.
Yep.
Perennial.
And I know, especially me as a fan, I think like long-term a lot. Too much, maybe. I'm starting to try to drop that, but there's a lot of contracts that are going to be dropping from we're paying people for that don't even play. So we can lock these guys up long term. Hopefully, in the next couple of years, that'll be great.
And Diaz, I'm pretty sure I saw earlier that this is it. You want to lock him up long term or not, because this is his last year that he's under control.
Yeah, with a reliever. I mean, question to you: with the reliever, what does long term look like? You're not doing like a 10-year Lindor deal.
No, no. I
5
think
years, 4 years.
He's 27, right? He's 27, right?
Yep.
So he could pitch at reliever, at closer level for the next 5 years, easy, at elite closer level.
4 or 5
and then
years.
maybe a couple of years after that, he'd be a pretty decent closer. Then maybe a bullpen guy. So you could get some good money. You could get some good value for him if you lock him up for 5 years.
I guess you're throwing an 8-year contract.
Over 5 years.
Sorry,
I say 5 years. I would say 5 years because it'll appease him and it'll make it safer for us. It'll give us a chance to find a closer within the next 5 years.
Yeah,
but
and
I like him.
Terzio is talking. I just looked up like the highest paid closers in baseball. So I might be Homer, whatever. But I would take Diaz over Chapman. We've seen them both blow up, but age and all that stuff
Sure.
He's making $18 million. Liam Hendricks, remember we wanted him as a setup guy, and he probably
a setup guy, and he's
like
blossomed into a reliever.
And now he's the guy who's blocking. What was the closer's name? He's played for the Braves, the Cubs, the Red Sox. The guy with the funky stance looks like he's taking a dump. Kimbrel. So he blocked Kimbrel's path to closing with the White Sox. So Hendricks is the real deal. He had great seasons with the Athletics also. Will Smith for the Braves, $13 million, and then Raisel Iglesias, who's now pitching for the Angels, who just got a nice deal, is making $10 million. So that makes that puts him as the fourth highest paid closer in baseball. Do you if you're the Mets, have you seen enough to give him that 4 or 5 year extension?
I mean, for me, I'm going to say he's got the stuff. Yeah, Joe says no. He's got the stuff, but he hasn't had the performance to this point. He's got the stuff to do it, but he hasn't executed quite yet. But he's still young, so I would say give it this year and see what happens next year. If it comes out strong this year, then that's something we can think about.
So Rodriguez, let me pivot that to you. Is it too much of a risk to wait out this year, let him become the free agent, and then hit the open market, and a team out there that wants to make a huge splash just goes overboard on a contract for him?
You don't have to wait the whole year. You can wait half the year. Okay, you can let him play until the All-Star break. As soon as that All-Star break comes along, you can see what kind of player he's going to be with us, because he's already given us 2.5 years, almost 3 years of his life. So we kind of know where he's at. If he just develops a better off-speed pitch, he's deadly. It's going to be over for anybody, because he doesn't have that off-speed, that big change from 99 to 97 or 93 on a slider. That's not that big of a change. From 99 to 89, a good changeup, nobody would hit the guy.
What was the big pitch Mariano had, Rodriguez? Was it a slider?
The cutter.
He had this cutter. He had the cutter. And that thing, the thing was, it was at 95, but at the end it tailed.
That's all, and that's all he never needed.
And that's all you need.
It looked like a fastball out of his hand, and then
and it just moves. And then when he learned to do it both ways, I mean, the guy was. You got to give him the credit. He was the greatest closer I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
So now
this guy Diaz has that type of arm.
That's
he's
why
a
I say
tall,
that.
lanky guy, and he can
has that
throw
ability
for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that I would keep him. Honestly, I'd give him this half a year. Of course, if he really was terrible, you got to dump him. But if he was anywhere near to average to good, I'd sign him for the next 3 years and give him till he's about 30, 31, and then maybe trade him or ship him out.
And you know what? His age right now is this is kind of, from what I've realized or what I've seen, in my opinion, in baseball, it's a pivotal moment in your late 20s, 26, 27,
late 20s.
28.
That's when you break out. Either break
your
out
body,
or you don't.
Yeah, they develop, and
That's
their talent is
your
realized. So this is his moment this year to next year. So I would like to see him stay a Met, especially since we gave up so much to get him and Cano. It'll offset the Cano issue.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. I wanted to take that a step further and say, if you let the man walk, then you gave up whatever that is for 2-3 years of Diaz, not even at his best.
Yep.
And Cano, who is still playing second base and DH for us.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's why he's gonna play. You have to get your money out of him. You're paying him anyway, dude. The guy can be a good influence on the younger guys and keep them in check if his work ethic is true and he stays true to form in the clubhouse. He's been known as a good clubhouse guy. I mean, that's the only knock against him is the roids, which is horrible. Don't get me wrong, but
right.
Oh, Cano,
otherwise.
I mean, even Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter's talking him up. Every day at camp they talk about.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't think Buck would let him in the clubhouse, let him get a foothold in there if he thought he was a bad influence.
The big thing I hear from Buck about Cano, if that's who we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Is he's a bat on ball kind of guy, and that sounds maybe stupid, but it's really true. We don't have a lot of bat on ball people. Not only in his clubhouse, McNeil we thought was going to become that, and then he turned to something else. We'll see what he does this year. But bat on ball guys are not. I believe so too, but not to deter too much. I think bat on ball kind of players are an anomaly right now. It may come back because baseball cycles. We all know that, but it's been swing or miss type of thing. We're going to see with no shift and things like that what the game becomes right now from the batter's perspective. But
that'll be next year. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry. Producer Joe says Cano can wash the uniforms for the rest of the team. Absolutely. I have no issues with that. He should do that anyway to apologize for the team.
Hey, listen, if he hits 20 home runs, bats 280 at the DH spot,
then he's going to be getting tested daily.
Yeah, hopefully he fails. But
he's going to be tested a lot.
He should be tested all the time. What are you kidding me?
What a dumbass! Two times. What a dumbass! And then, he probably didn't want to shove his foot in his mouth. That's why he didn't want to say. Like 6 or 7 times, different ways he was asked, "Why would you do this again?" And it does get to the point where, all right, he screwed up. He doesn't want to come forward with the reason why he would even attempt that again. So let's just move past it. He's on the team right now.
He was given a statement by his agency.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he was told do not answer this. And every time they ask you, answer with this. So I don't necessarily blame him. He was being advised to answer that way.
And probably the right thing to do, because there's no right answer to that, right?
Any other answer he gave would have opened up a huge can of worms. No matter what, it would have become a huge can of worms. So I don't blame him for that. But I do blame him. I mean, come on, dumbass. For second time. However, I'm not upset about it because I was glad he wasn't on the team last year, as bad as that sounds, because it allowed us to see more of what we have. This guy's not our future. But hopefully, because we are a win now type of team, hopefully he is our present, and hopefully he can be a huge factor in us winning a championship this year. I'll even take getting to the NL championship as a first step, but with the team that we have, I'm expecting serious consideration for a championship.
So some of the guys in the chat are talking about Josh Hader, which I would love to have. For two reasons why. The Brewers are a good team and have been he's a Met killer that's in the National League Central. That, I guess that's the best way to say it. He mows us down, can't sniff a foul ball against this guy. So I mean that would be great. I mean, and then have Hader. I know he just signed a 1-year deal to avoid arbitration today, but imagine having Hader and a Diaz and Stevie Cohen.
I was a little thrown off by that 1-year deal.
It's Milwaukee, so I don't. So Milwaukee over the last X amount of years have had a history of building themselves up, and then having great historic first half or some shit like that, and then just folding. So I don't think that they want to go to many extremes when it comes to long-term deals there. Just because they just don't know,
Yeah, maybe they're trying to follow the Tampa, path of how to handle the players. But I mean, even Tampa signed somebody when they need to, and
they were in on Freddie Freeman.
Yeah, right.
What?
But, I mean, the AL East, that's a whole other story. I mean, we could probably do a whole show just based off the AL East and then another one off the NL East. But they, at least when it comes down to it, they're willing to go down and throw some money. But then again, you got to look at the Brewers. They threw almost 8-year contract. Let me see. 9 years for Yelich.
Oh, yeah, Yelich, and that's biting them in the ass. Not to say that he's never going to regain that form again, but he's never going to regain that MVP form again. Doesn't
and
feel that way.
Last year he had a
he
pretty
fell
miserable
off.
year. I'm looking at his stats. I didn't even realize it was that bad. He did play
Yeah.
117 games, which is really not up to par with that kind of contract. But he only hit 9 home runs and batted 248 versus the year they signed the contract for him for. He hit 36 and then consecutively after that 44 home runs, batted 326 and 329, and then since the pandemic, I think was it back issues or neck issues, something like that. And
back issue. The Marlins are
teeth
probably
issues.
pretty happy with that.
He got such big ass teeth.
He does.
It looks like it's Pete Davidson playing sometimes. You know.
Pete Davidson.
Looks.
Well, let's not
like
talk
him.
about what Pete Davidson's doing. Get it?
Let's
or who he's doing.
Baby.
All right.
Let's talk about
Keith. Keith, this is a Mets podcast. All right, let's get this.
But we're on Pop Culture Pros Network, so I have it in there.
You do. You want to talk about Kanye for a little bit?
Let's talk about Kanye,
no.
baby.
All right, let's get back to some more. I don't want to do it either.
Well done.
All right, Brandon Nimmo gets $7 million.
More towards you, Faraci, not me.
I don't believe that to be true.
No, I do believe it's true.
Dom Smith gets $3.95 million, and hey,
another bargain.
Dom, let's take one step back here for these two guys. So Brandon Nimmo gets $7 million. We know that he, listen, if he were to stay healthy, he'd be a perennial all-star, but he hasn't yet. So $7 million on this guy who is not come close to playing a full season. I don't know if the neck issues are behind him or what is going on, but he says he wants to play center field. I don't know what Buck Showalter's is going to do between him and Marte. But if we get a fully healthy Brandon Nimmo, which is a big if, guys, both just always off.
We have a legit leadoff batter.
Star. Also, not even. And I want to get, maybe not this show, but maybe next week we'll talk about ideal lineups, because now that there's a universal DH, there's just all sorts of shit that you can do with this lineup. Now that you got some speed, pop, you got everything in this lineup now. But
everything, right?
Brandon Nimmo could legit, and we've talked about this over Rodriguez and this funny from this afternoon, that when you were talking about the prediction show, right? And we're always looking towards Nimmo and what he could potentially be, a 20, 25 home run guy, from the top of the lineup, a 65, 70 RBI guy. He's got the speed. He's got the pop. His defense has been better than what we expected.
Well,
so our our defensive scouts between him and Alonso, I'm glad that we got all that stuff screwed away.
We're doing well.
But how much would that production right there? That's 3 times this dollar amount. So if you get a healthy Nimmo, that's bargain basement.
Another bargain.
Yep. I mean,
those guys are good.
Let's see what happens this year, right? I mean, a lot of times players, through the beginning of their career, it's just they're learning to play. They're not treating their body right, and sometimes eventually they learn what to do. Some of his injuries, he crashed into a wall during a catch. He got hit on the wrist. So they weren't necessarily like conditioning injuries and things like that. So let's see if he learned his lesson from the things that he can learn from. And let's see if he learns his lessons from the things that he can avoid, such as slamming his head into a wall. And I appreciate the passion, but I would almost rather a missed catch and have you for 160 than a single catch and have you for 97 games. So
now that you mentioned Daniel Murphy, I want to go back to our conversation from last week.
Who the hell mentioned Daniel Murphy?
Who the hell mentioned Daniel Murphy? Okay, we'll go back to you, boys.
We kid. We're having fun here. Hey, forget about it.
Did you hear about Patrick Ewing?
Patrick Ewing.
Oh wait, this is the Mets show. Sorry.
This is the Mets show, but we often kill people on the show that are not dead. So that's why Rodriguez, Rodriguez got very scared there.
Warner Wolf dead, right? Isn't Warner Wolf dead?
He did. He ripped down a sign on his complex where he lived here in Florida.
Right?
I thought it was thought it was next to the Faraci because Faraci's in.
I thought it was Plantation. I thought
Was it Plantation?
I think so.
Yeah, it was in
No,
Plantation.
it wasn't Plantation.
No,
No?
It was on
Plantation.
it was on the West Coast.
Little West.
No, it
Side.
was in Florida.
Oh, West Side. Bruh. That's Joe saying, "Shut up, guys." All right, let's get to some of the comments here, and then we'll finish up with our arbitration. Terzio says, "How about Brandon Nimmo as DH?" I don't know that we can afford that. Because you
put him in
want
the corner.
A corner outfield, and so Rodriguez, you're just like you're on your game today, baby. Next comment up is, who would you rather play center field, Nimmo or Marte?
If Marte is healthy, Marte should be in center field. He's
Yes.
a true center fielder. Even though Nemo's played well, you have to put Nemo in a certain spot for him to play well. He's got to be coming in, right? That's why his defensive metrics got better, because he was charging in, not going back. He doesn't have that reaction speed to go back. He needs to charge in. Okay, he picks up speed as he runs. If you watch Nemo run, he picks up speed. He's not one of those guys that in 1 second he's gone. Marte is that guy. Marte in 1 second he's covering another 20 feet. That's why if they're both healthy, Marte plays in center field. Doesn't mean that Nemo can't switch over sometimes to give Marte a rest, bring another guy in. That's why they had that diversity. Didn't they just get this Jankowski kid, right?
Yeah.
He's a super fast.
The long hair. Did you see that catch that he made?
That was a great catch, man. The guy can fly. So they're trying to build a complete team and not using that much money and not giving people big contracts for more than 2 or 3 years. Remember that third baseman, that Spanish kid, he's only got a 2-year contract.
Both 2 years. And
Kana is 2 years, right?
And he
is it Kana?
McCann? McCann is 2
McCann's got
years.
3 more. No, McCann is a 4-year deal.
McCann's a 4, even better. Well, because Alvarez is a 19-year-old. So all these contracts, they're doing a good job. These Mets, if you really got to watch them.
Yep.
You really.
I agree.
You have to think about what.
That's an awesome.
I think we lost Rodriguez.
So just to pick up from there real quick, I would just say one thing in what Rodriguez was saying. Oh, there you go, Rodriguez. Go ahead.
I think he's back.
You dropped.
Nope.
Oh. So with Nimmo, I think the reason why he got better in center field is because he started learning how the bat off the ball looks from that perspective. Because he was traditionally a left fielder. Yeah. So he was. So I think it's a matter of him having more reps, so to speak, in center field. So putting him in a corner outfield is not a bad thing, but having him cover Marte when he needs a rest or something like that is a great thing, because that way we can
in center
continue to in center, right? We can continue to have Nimmo learn that position more and more as we go along.
He can't throw. He doesn't have an arm, so
he's got to go to left.
He's got to go to left. He can't go to right. That's why Kana can play in right.
Nimmo,
you know who else can play in right field? We know.
Conforto.
We know, it's in the comments.
Guys, why are you not there, guys?
Nimmo could be our next McReynolds.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing if he could even be half as good as McReynolds.
I can dream. Are we gonna jump into Conforto?
Mm-hmm. All right. I'm no, not yet. But I will say that we were all right. We were all right about Warner Wolf. It was a plantation sign, but it was taken off in East Naples. So we combined. It was a plantation off of East Naples sign. So we're both right. All three of us. That's a
it's
rare
like I ripped
event.
down a Miami sign in Chicago.
Man.
You know,
it's
he did
close.
It. Either way, let's go to the videotape if you don't believe me.
Yeah. No. All right. Let's go to some more. Let's go to some more arbitration guys as we run through. Dom Smith, who we all learned that was playing with a torn labrum last year, which slightly takes away from your swing and your power. So
I thought it was Dom Smith.
Dong.
Here we go.
But in his first few games, both inter squad and outer squad, 3 home runs, a triple. I mean, all right. So we get him on a bargain at $3.95 million. I say bargain. Not, we're not millionaires, so we're not. It's not.
Do you know how many years on my salary would take me to make that? But yeah.
All right, let's talk about
Nice
some other
DH.
bargains. Some other bargains. Jeff McNeil comes in at a smooth $3 million.
Wow. If he goes berserk this year, if he lets himself be the player that he needs to be and not try to be a power guy, if he becomes that slap hitter again that can drive the ball to all fields, he will be a supreme bargain. It'll be amazing because that offense is gonna click. That offense is gonna move. Because if he's got Lindor or Marte in front of him, Nemo, Marte, McNeil, he's got those guys in front of him, and he's hit that ball. And those guys are high percentage on base guys. That's why Nemo's up there. Marte also. We're gonna score a lot of runs, dude. And then you got Polar Bear. It's gonna look good. So anyway, am I getting too ahead of myself?
No.
No. I was just laughing at the wow.
Owen Wilson, wow.
I really think that
that's a Wedding Crashers thing, I think.
I really think that next year a lot of these things are gonna change because hit them where they ain't is gonna become more of a chance thing. Because they're with the shift, they move all the field to the side. They can easily hit them where they ain't, but they're not. So it's going to go back to playing into the batter's, power or their advantage where they hit the ball, as opposed to the field adjusting to where the hitter normally bats the ball. So I think players like McNeil and Alonso, you're going to see averages start rising once the shifting goes away.
That's all Alonso needs is to have a close to 300 average to be considered elite. I mean, he's really, really good, but he's like above all-star level if he gets that average up to 300, man.
The dude's vehicle flipped 3 times and he kicked the front windshield out and got out of the car.
And that's one thing we didn't talk about, We didn't talk about
we started we got last week at the very tail end when you dropped off, we mentioned Pete, and they were like, we didn't even talk about it. No, we didn't get into a discussion. And Tony, listen, you're I just went dark here. Tony, you are you're killing me. Homemade sausages, peppers, and eggs sub for dinner. We talk about this all the time on the show.
Tony, what are you doing?
Typically we
haven't
don't eat
eaten yet.
before the show started, and our stomachs are growling.
Pizza time makes a good sausage, pepper, and egg sandwich.
Hey,
there's not many places that do that.
Looks like Producer Joe's having his dreams again.
Yeah, he's a little whiskey going. All right,
he said the scooter was for the log.
No. JD Davis gets just south of $3 million at 2.76, and it seems as though. And I'm thankful for it. I hope he gets an opportunity to show what he can do. I'm happy that he's going to be, or it seems as though he's going to be staying with the club. Luis Guillorme, their base. Who? Their base. Depth, guys, depth. Stevie,
Guillorme, he can
Mr.
play every
Conforto.
field.
We need a side Conforto.
We need Conforto. We
Uncle
really
Steve.
should. That guy.
Uncle Steve. Let's plead.
I'm not convinced. I looked up his stats today, Parachi.
I know. Let's toast Uncle Stevie, please, for the love of God, please, or whatever. Please sign them. And Conforto. What the hell are you doing? It is March 23rd.
What's wrong with you, dude? What's up?
Okay.
Come back. I know it might be difficult.
Let's roll it back because
come back to the Mets.
This is some conversation we had offline, and Conforto said, "I'm in control and I have my decisions." I'm gonna say I don't disagree. Thank you, CSI. I don't agree with that. I think that he is being mined.
Oh my God!
By
who gives a shit? They should be here. You're not muted. We hear you.
You didn't hear me say. I'm talking about Boras.
Who by the way just got a really good deal for Carlos Correa up in Minnesota, and he'll get a good deal for Conforto. Watch. He signed with Minnesota, said all these nice things about Minnesota today, and he knows that there's an opt out after the first year for a damn reason. It is a 3-year contract, but he's opting the hell out after the first year and going to get his ass a big ass contract.
Collect 30-something million for 2 more years.
No, I don't think so. I think he can. Carlos, do you remember? Like, was it? Yeah, it had to be last year when we were talking about, and I know we got away really quick from Conforto, but do you remember when we were talking about all these guys, Corey Seager, Lindor, all these shortstops, and we were like, holy shit, where are these guys going to go? He wound up with the least, overall guaranteed potential money. Javi Baez wound up with Detroit for way less than $200 million. So it's really only like Seager and Lindor and that got the massive deals. The other guys, Trevor Story wound up with, what was it, 7 years, 160 or something like that.
I wanted that dude, man. I wanted that.
I feel like we could have signed, like he was willing to go to second base, but you know who's available next year because Trevor Story went to the Red Sox this year is Bogarts, who's a beast. He's a beast, and he's willing to go to second or third.
I mean, I had him on my fantasy, so I know he is a beast.
He's beast.
But if it's next year, where does he go? We still have, hopefully.
Listen, Kana's going to be gone. Kana's going to be doing something weird somewhere. McNeil goes to right field, and you put Bogey at second base. And that's after, like, he's going to be attending the World Series championship ring ceremony next opening day as a new Met.
Slip some steroids and Cano's drink, have them tested the next day, and go from there.
But
why are you sabotaging the guy already? Give him a chance.
Why Bogey though? Oh, we're sabotaging Kana. Oh, sorry. Okay.
No, we're sabotaging Cano.
Cano, don't you?
Oh, Cano. I said that. I've been talking for weeks that we should plant some stuff in the locker. Actually,
why would you say that, Farachi? You're terrible.
If we can get Terzio doesn't care. We'll pay his bail money. Terzio gets in there and he puts some type of.
Believe that.
Just
I'm not committing to that.
And you put that cream. Remember the cream or the Balco or something in his locker.
What, the vagina cream?
Yeah.
Vagisil? What would you put Vagisil in there?
Price check. Vagisil. What's that?
Tony,
myself, and
Rusty says that agrees with me. Conforto has Boras in his ear.
I don't.
He's got to be a man,
right? But I don't see. I know Conforto said what he said, but I don't see Boris. Remember we made him a Russian guy with the spelling. But I don't think Boris has ever been like, oh yeah, you can make your own decision. I ain't gonna. He's the guy who builds the 17-page novel on why you should sign my client.
But dude, he's on our good side now. This is before when we were very cheap team and we wouldn't spend any money. He would lambaste us and talk nasty and say all these things. Now we're giving his clients the money. We are buddy. We have the money. Board us. We'll not go against.
But he could have screwed Conforto by, if you believe the reports of the 5-year $100 million or the 5 years $120 million deal.
Why is no one else offering him anything, dude? Why don't you hear his name going to other places?
Do you want to know why?
You're not hearing anything.
If you look at a graph, right? If I were to pull a graph on Conforto and his years, it's going to look like this.
Right.
So you're going to pay this guy $30 million, and you could be getting this part of his career.
Dude, but Kana got the same stats as Conforto. Less, actually, okay? He's proven to be a less of a power guy and even a lower average guy. Same amount of years, pretty much almost identical player, okay? And he got a contract from us. Conforto wants to be paid like Bryce Harper. He wants to be paid like that type of guy.
Then play like that, bro.
Well, I will. There has been times where we talked about this the first year in Philadelphia, and I know it's all about consistency. But the first year in Philadelphia for that guy, I won't mention his name, but you remember how we were comparing? How could this guy get so much more money than Conforto when you look at the stats? Now, last year, obviously, he had an MVP type year, and Conforto surely did not. It took him from August 1st on to hit 280 something.
Well, I think Washington contributed to his salary to help them win a championship and bring it to Washington
in DC.
Yes,
and bring a title to DC. All right. So, Cowbell man, Edwin says I would try to bring
Cowbell
back
man.
Conforto for 1 year. Why?
We
Yeah.
talked about
Why
Listen,
not?
his other client just signed that 3-year deal with Minnesota, Carlos Correa. 3 years. Give opt-outs. I opt out after year 1. Opt-out. That's because baseball's going that direction. You're seeing a lot more of these contracts with opt-outs after year 1, year 3, year 5, etc. But that I believe that kind of contract is beneficial for both the player and the team. You sign Conforto to, let's just say, throw out a 3-year, $65 million deal. Opt out after 1, opt out after 2. You want to go and test the waters? Be my guest.
So
if we want to match, we match. If not, toodaloo.
I gotta believe, right? Because obviously we all know Uncle Steve has way more going on than just the Mets, but the Mets seem to be his main focus because he probably has a lot of people handling his investment business, right? So at what point does Uncle Steve step in? What convinces, and this is a question to you, what convinces Uncle Steve to say,
More cowbell.
go in there and make it happen? Or is it not convincing enough that Uncle Steve says, you know what, Billy Epler, you handle this? Like, what is that deciding factor for Uncle Steve to say, go get this done? What do you think?
I think he does have that that bit of him that wants to please the fans. That's why you see Old Timers Day come back. That's why you see him messing with the fans on Twitter. Bobby Bonilla we're gonna have fun.
But hold on, let
but
me
I
just stop
think
right
that
there.
at the
There's
end
a
of the
separation right there, right? There's
I was getting
fan
there.
happiness. Okay, go ahead.
But at
He's
the
a
end of the
fan,
day,
though.
I
With the
think
money.
that he's been a fan all these years and he's got the money. But I think that at the end of the day, he's got, somebody's got to realize that depth is the is part of the essence of winning a World Series title. Look at the Dodgers. They could lose 2, 3, 4 guys, and they got depth behind all those positions. We've gotten better at that. In Atlanta, they lost Ronald Acuna Jr. and they won the damn World Series. It's because of the depth. We talk about all the time. Injuries are always going to happen, and we've suffered more than others, but it's about the depth. And if you don't see that Conforto has been, as up and down as he's been in big moments when the team has been in the big spotlight, he's come through. Game-winning hits, clutch. 2 home runs in a World Series game to put us up. That game that the game that we won against the Royals back in 2015.
Home runs did Daniel Murphy hit that? No. So,
but what I'm saying is that we know he can play City Field. We know he's got a great arm. We know he plays tremendous defense. We know he's got ups and downs.
And he can handle New York.
And he can handle New York City. He's done it. Not. And he was what it feels like was a tremendous teammate. Guys liked him. He was involved with the ripping of the shirts off, the talking to the crowd, the almost WWE atmosphere, as I like to call it. But I think that he has shown that he can handle New York City, and we need depth, outfield depth.
You don't have to convince us. Just send this video.
I'm talking to Stevie
Mr.
Cohen.
Mr. Cohen.
Let's snip that. Let's snip it, baby. Send it off to him.
And that was kind of my point, and you covered it and articulated it beautiful.
Well, thank you.
I really
nobody
think
from the show has ever said that to me before.
One of the it's just because I'm so hot for you. It's just, I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that he can handle New York so well. He is clutch. Is he inconsistent? Yeah, but baseball in general is inconsistent unless your name is Max Scherzer, or even better, Jacob deGrom. Baseball is an inconsistent game. It's ebbs and flows. It's ups and downs. Baseball that's how it is. But yeah, Conforto has proven himself to be pretty clutch.
All right, we want Conforto. We get it.
There you go. There we go. And added to that, and we said this last week.
And he's Italian.
We said this last week. The kid
I thought he was Spanish.
Can play left, right field with a
center. He can play center.
He's played center for it. He's done. Yeah. Look,
I like
him with the DH. He could has he really played left field for us?
I don't think he's ever.
He's got the arm for right field. I don't remember him playing left field. Okay, but he's got the arm for right field
out there.
Yeah,
He's definitely. I mean, anyway, Uncle Steve, do it. Next topic.
All right, I want to get to some of the rule changes that were announced over the last few days.
This is where I back out. All right, have a good show, guys.
All right, so number one, I'm going to save that one. I'm going to save that one for last. Rosters go to 28. So you can have 28 guys on the roster from opening day until May 1st. Then it drops back down to the 26 that was agreed upon. And the reason that they did that because of the shortened spring training and potential maybe there's injuries or a little bit more depth is needed.
I like it.
I do like that. Number two, the Ohtani Rule, as they're calling it. Mr. Gines, welcome, buddy. The Ohtani Rule is pretty straightforward. I don't disagree with it. You guys let me know if you guys disagree with it. But the rule basically
I hate it already. As soon as you said you like it.
because I agree with it. But the rule basically states that if you're a pitcher and you're the DH, once you are removed from the game as a pitcher, you can remain in the game as DH. What do you guys think?
Yeah, of course.
Right? That makes sense. It's two different things, right?
That's how we played it. That's how we played it in our leagues.
You're right.
We need to recognize everybody identifying as different things. So when you identify as a pitcher and you're removed, you still is separately identifying as a DH, and you should stay in the game.
So let me ask you a question.
I know that came across as a joke.
And listen,
clearly, I'm not joking at identification.
I'm not joking across.
I'm not joking across. I'm not joking at identification. But I am leveraging today's current.
Right now, Keith is identifying as a douchebag.
Why? No, but I'm just saying he should be able to identify any way he wants.
Well, and it's called the Ohtani Rule because right now it's only affecting or impacting Shohei Ohtani. And
so you're saying only Shohei Ohtani is able to identify? So maybe I'm not a douchebag. No.
All right.
All kidding aside, I don't have an issue with the rule because it is two different identifications, right? You're a pitcher, you're out, but when you're in terms of the DH, why should you be removed from the game?
Yeah, no, I agreed. But geez, man, respect to Shohei Ohtani, who was unanimously the MVP. I mean, how do you even do that? How many home runs did he hit? I'm a little jealous. Is it showing? Oh, imagine Scherzer, deGrom, and Ohtani. Greedy. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll move on.
I'll be honest. I almost value Ohtani more as a batter than a pitcher, but
he's a
beast in both positions.
But if you could do both and get 15 to 20 starts, man. All right. Tercio, agree. Major League Baseball needs his face out there. I mean, it is a shame for an Angels team, big market team, to have Mike Trout and Ohtani, arguably the best two players in baseball. I mean, you can argue that all day, but not even sniffing playoffs, and the whole narrative of they're wasting Mike Trout's talent and whatnot. Yeah, 100% agree. I mean, you got.
I don't know. I would say James McCann is better than Trout.
I agree,
but
I agree.
All
right. Now let's get to fire up Tercio, baby. All right, let's get to the thing that we hate. We all hate it. So this is a thing for this year. However, it will be voted upon next year, and I will tell you that this irritates me to no end because both, if there's one thing that the damn both sides agree on, it's this. The Players Association wants it, the owners want it, and I don't know. I mean, we don't like it. Maybe they make a change to it next year if they decide to make it permanent. Start it in the 12th inning.
Can we put up Steve Gein's comment?
The Little League stuff. We don't even do it in Little League. There's no extra innings.
No, but it is kind of like a Little League.
Yeah, it's
a
completely
softball.
Bush League.
It's a softball rule. It's a softball rule to speed up the game. That's what it is.
Well, both sides of. So I listening to a couple different things. Both sides, owners and the players, want this to reduce injuries, to reduce the amount of pitchers that you got to use. I miss.
It's just stupid.
I'm a new age guy. I like some of the changes that get made. I do believe that there's some things that need to change to get younger kids to watch and to continue to play the game, because at the end of the day, we all love the game and we want younger kids to continue to enroll and play and get there. But this, I think we can all agree, I don't like it. I hate it. If they started it later on in the innings, maybe the 11th, maybe the 12th, I will miss the 16-inning game every now and again. It's not like it happens often. But how, just several years back now, Mets and Cardinals, like 19 innings. What about the classic game? The Mets and the Braves
during the playoffs, dude. During the '86 playoffs,
the Mets and Astros.
They played extra innings.
Oh,
those get. What are you gonna do then? You're gonna take a guy, put him on second, and start off a World Series game.
So
in the 10th inning, are you?
Playoffs? No, it's only for regular season.
It's gonna become a playoff thing. It'll turn into a playoff thing. Come on,
I'm hoping not, Rodriguez. I'm trying to be. Look at Timmy's new rule. You can yell cheap if you hit it to the pitcher, and we start.
67th Street. You remember the bases we painted on the street, and then whenever we hit a ground
were they large bases or small bases?
No, they were small bases.
Okay.
But we lived on. It was a split off street, so we just. You had to run like this, and then to get to second base, because there was cars parked there, you had to run like this around the car, and then around this car to get to third.
We used a double yellow line for second base.
So it kind of looked like one of those what do they call it, the French or the Louisiana? They use it that anyway. What the Saints? What is it?
When the Saints go marching in.
When the Saints come marching in. So back real quick onto the other subject. So to me, baseball, and what I love about baseball, it is football is too, but baseball is more slow. Baseball is more like chess. It's such a strategic game. It's manager versus manager, player versus player, decision versus decision. The slightest decision can alter the outcome of a whole entire ball game. And a whole entire season if you're in a game 7 of a World Series. And once you start removing that aspect of the game, to me, it bugs me a whole bunch. And that's kind of why, I hate the shift. Part of me is glad it's gone, but the other part of me is so upset that we have not taken the advantage of people shifting to the whole entire left or right side of the field completely open, and teaching our batters to take advantage of that and being strategic. And that's what the second base runner, ghost runner, or whatever you want to call it, rule, it's equivalent to that, in my opinion. And it removes that entire wonderful aspect of baseball where you're sitting down and watching managers and players strategically try to outsmart each other. Instead, we're putting little crutches in there. So players can swing away and get higher contracts and speed up the game, and it upsets me. I don't like it at all. I don't like.
Well, let me ask you a question. Does it it removes one aspect of the chess playing, but does it add to another? So what I'm trying to say is, if there's that runner on second base, do you make the decision to walk the leadoff guy to get the force at third, second, and first? Do you?
Okay.
If it's the pitcher, well, never mind. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I'm just.
No.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that last year the pitcher rule was that if the pitcher spot wound up on second base, you can have whoever you want go.
Dude, it's not earned. The run is not earned. Then what you need to do is make another step for that category. That runner on second that starts off, Don't
Unearned
make it
run.
an earned run. Make it
No,
an
it is.
unearned run.
It is unearned. Yep.
Okay, it's okay. So it's an unearned run. That's one thing. The second thing is it forces you maybe 80% of the time to have to put the guy on first base because it's
Almost,
an easy, and you have to try to turn two. You have to try to do something because otherwise it throws off your whole game. If
There's
you don't have
other
a shot to team.
strategies. This brings forth other strategies. Yes, absolutely, I agree. However, it brings forth other strategies to counter an advantage you're giving the other team, and I don't agree with it. I think it is you're starting on second base.
Earn the
You're
hit.
starting on
Earn
second
the
base.
run. That's all.
We all
Just
wish we
Earn
started
the
at second
run.
base.
There's no
earn the
reason.
run. That's
And
my
okay,
point.
well, the in the next
Bruh.
extra inning, the other team also gets a runner on second base, so it's even. No, it's not. It's just stupid. Get to second base on your demo and get
You
a
missed
double.
my joke, you asshole.
Yeah,
We all wish we started on second base.
dum. But anyway, I don't agree with it. Yes, there are other strategies that can counter this, but I think in general it takes away from the game, in my opinion.
I don't like it. I agree with you guys.
It's harder to get from home to
Why
home.
do you disagree with
than
us,
from
Farachi?
Sorry, but would you guys be okay with it starting in the 11th or 12th or 13th or whatever?
Hell
inning?
no.
Like,
Bring
not at all.
Wade Boggs in the 15th inning
That's
to
the
throw
point.
knuckleballs. No.
15th inning, you earn that win, dude. Earn it. Be a man.
Once
Not
you get into
everybody
the
should get
10th
a
inning,
trophy, Farachi.
right? Exactly. And once you get into the 10th inning, understand that I need to
Jesus, man,
stretch
what's
my
wrong with you?
bullpen every way possible. You for this rule.
I want a winner.
Get my runner from
Wow.
second to home, not from home to home. You know what I mean? It takes away from the team aspect.
Right.
You got
I hear that.
a bunt, a base hit, a sac fly. It takes away from that because all you got to do is get a base hit, second to home, you're done, and that's the end of that. I just don't agree with it. My opinion. Some may agree, and if you do, go.
If
But
you disagree,
know
he'll fuck at you in a minute.
exactly. I'll fuck it you and all of your damn beliefs.
All right, I just remember. I just realized that we didn't go through the full list, but just really quick, we don't have to comment much on this on these guys, maybe one or two. But Guillermo gets 875. Tomas Nido gets 890,000. Seth
That's a
Lugo
bargain.
gets giddy up. Because what? No, we don't. Do you remember what happened?
A
when Nido was doing well.
A backup. Oh yeah, he sucks the blood life out of Lindor.
We can't do it.
Can't
do
do
it
it
this year.
So
Can't do it this year.
800,000,
Stop right
he's
there.
good.
Topic for next week, maybe.
Yeah.
Vientos. We got to talk about that dude. Beast.
Oh, for sure.
Vampire.
Right, we'll talk about some of the
He's a
guys
vampire.
that didn't quite make it, but didn't quite make it with the 26. Now that it's 28, there might be a few guys that
they're
have
a
jumped the
little
gun.
call away, dude. Just a call
Right.
away.
Right. So Lugo gets 3.9.
Bargain. If he's
Bargain.
on.
Big time.
Mega bargain.
Super bargain. He's a closer if he's on.
Trevor Williams. We talk about depth. We brought
Good
him
deal.
in from Chicago.
He's
He didn't
done
do
well.
bad last year. 3.9 million. Miguel Castro, who
I like that guy.
I like
I
him
don't know
too.
why I like
That was an under the radar move by
Good sign.
I don't want to mention his name, but from Baltimore. And so they bring him in. He's got good stuff. $2.62 million for
Goes
him.
hard. He's nasty too. Skinny little bastard.
Yes. He's
Nasty.
got that hat off to the side. Let's get him.
Got little tall Reyes.
Joey Lucchesi, who he along with Brandon Nimmo, Mike Piazza, that Hall of Famer from the New York Metropolitans, greatest hitting catcher of all time. He wants to grab Lucchesi and Nimmo for Team Italy as the World Baseball Classic starts up again next year.
Take Lucchesi.
He's out here recruiting.
He can keep Lucchesi. He can start. He can take him right now and keep him.
Depth.
And by the middle of the year, he'll be able to take Nimmo. Even though he'll be a paraplegic by then or something, but he'll be able to take Nimmo by mid-year.
Terzio, I just saw that. You stole my thunder. The whole I didn't see the reason why, but the whole thing about Kyrie and unvaccinated players not being able to play in home games in New York, that looks as though that has been lifted.
Do we want to get political and say how we feel about that, or we'll take
No, no. It was no matter how you figure political and all this stuff, it was absolutely asinine to think that a visiting player who is unvaccinated can play in a game in New York.
Exactly my point.
And the home guy can't because he works there.
I agree with the rule, but I disagree with how it's placed because of that. Exactly right. It's just so stupid. It's
all or nothing. It has to be all or nothing.
Place I know, like where people work, and there's one building that nobody has to test, the other building everybody has to test once a week, and they all interact anyway. It just doesn't make sense. It's like, you know,
stop talking.
I'm just saying. So, it doesn't. No, it's. But I'm not speaking from personal.
I don't like Kyrie Irving. Let's get that settled straight. But
right.
But the rule should be exactly this: do not. You're putting your own city, which you want that ticker tape parade, right? You're putting your own city at a disadvantage when you're allowing these other guys to come in now.
Everybody
the whole
needs
topic
to test.
of vaccination and stuff, like who we would have lost. Part of me wants to hear who we would have lost. But deGrom didn't want to come out and say for the Yankees. A couple of guys didn't want to come out and say, and Aaron Judge was one of them. So like these are major guys out there, and
I don't agree with them.
I'm okay with them changing this to make it all or nothing. I didn't agree when the Mets became involved that it was the visitors that could play, but the Mets players couldn't.
It's ridiculous.
I don't care about the Nets.
Totally ridiculous. Like
Nets.
Listen, you can't play, but you're forced to interact with non-vaccinated people. I mean, it just makes no sense. So carry on.
Yeah. You get past that.
I have no idea what that feels like personally, but I'm just saying.
Weird. It's just weird. All right. So Mike Piazza, Mookie Wilson head to camp this week. Mike Piazza had some interesting things to say when it came to the organization. He said, it's great that the organization is, and I'm paraphrasing here, great that the organization is taking care of, within by getting good players, but it doesn't stop there. Then he talked about, he's actually gotten in the batting cages a few times because of, Old Timers Day.
He's going to put one out.
Oh, he better to right center.
He's going to put it out.
Do you think he's got the power to right center? All right. So you still got it?
Have you seen that dude?
I know. He's a big boy. He's
got that big dude, man. He's a big
He's
dude.
got that upper body strength that he could flick it sometimes and get it over that right center field wall, that David Wright home run type home run.
He can get it out of there. He can get it out.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. That's when he talked about Lucchese and Brandon Nimmo. He wants to, the World Baseball Classic. If you listen to Mets in the Morning with Josh Lewin, he talks about different cities that you can head to in Italy that he recommends, etc. So he says that you get not often that you have a new manager, new GM, and you're just welcomed. Everybody feels comfortable. They let him into some of the morning briefings and stuff. He didn't even ask. Buck was like, "Come on." I mean, you got a guy who was with your team for 7.5 years that is the best hitting catcher of all time.
Hall of Famer,
right?
Hall of Famer is coming
let the
back.
man in.
Come on.
But the Wilpon, I don't know what the Wilpon. I think Bill Wilpons would have been okay with Piazza, but letting guys into meetings and stuff, they were just weird.
You're trying to say that they would have had a problem with Mookie? Is that what you're saying?
Wait, who would have had a problem with Mookie?
The Wilpons. I just don't feel like the Wilpons welcomed in their the guys who got them to where they needed to be.
That's a whole other separate dedicated show to how we feel about the Wilpons, but I totally agree. They did not respect the past. They totally did not. But just kind of to jump forward again, back to the Piazza thing, there was a picture in the Post. I don't know where else it was put up, but I saw it in the Post. Piazza, like on the first step of the dugout, leaning, just kind of taking a break, and Pete Alonso with his glove and a ball in his hand, sitting there smiling, listening to Piazza talking to him.
Giddy.
Oh
Yep.
my goodness!
It's so cool to see, like, even like deGrom and Piazza. Piazza had a moment with Lindor, like
perfect, right?
I really that's what I like that. Lindor went through, to a little bit larger extent, what Piazza went through. Piazza,
Transition.
really minded his own business and was getting booed. Lindor with the whole thing with Baez and just all this stuff that went on.
Right.
You
Fast
forgive,
forward,
you
right?
forget, and move
He
forward.
screwed up.
Piazza was booed. Then he went to, was it San Diego?
He went to San Diego
Yeah,
afterward, Oakland.
and I was at that game when San Diego came to
The
visit.
two
He had
home
2
runs.
home runs against us.
The
And
first one,
Met
they
fans,
cheered.
we stood, and I was in the upper deck. The place was sold out because Piazza was there. Stood and applauded him through every pitch and cheered him through that first home run, and then did the same thing through his first at bat. And once he hit the second home run, the whole entire stadium booed him. So proud of you, Met fans. That was the perfect day. Gave him his respect, and then after the second home run was like,
And he
"All right,
respects
dude,
that.
enough."
Right? But
Of
Piazza,
course he does.
he respects that because he got booed. Like, if you have the balls as a fan base, as the Mets did in '98, to go through all the shit that they went through from basically '91 to '97, in the shitter, and then boo the man we just got that's perennial all-star, best hitting catcher in baseball, Dodgers. We stole him from the Marlins, and the balls on us, not us. I wasn't out there booing him, but the guys, the people that were booing him, come on, you have no room to do that when you've been a shit fest.
But this
for,
is New
for
York.
7 years.
Yankee fans even booed Jeter.
Yeah,
I think it was
after
warranted.
a second home run, you get booed.
For sure.
But he was a visiting player.
But can you imagine if Piazza, because of the booze in '98, decided, screw this shit, I'm going to the Cubs?
No, that game when he came back,
nothing.
that
9/11, none of that stuff.
We would be upset, but that game when he came back as a Padre, the Met fans acted accordingly and gave him. I was at the game. I'm telling you from experience, they gave him so much respect that his heart had to melt. His heart had to melt. And then I think at that point when he hit his second home run and we booed him, his heart still had to melt because he knew who was.
He knew.
Yes.
And what and it was the home runs that he hit were Piazza type home runs, right center field, if I can remember correctly.
Sure.
And one was just launched to left center
George
field.
That's what George used to call him. It's a Piazzian shot.
Piazzian. All right. One of the last thing that I want to kind of talk about here is payroll, CBA, this whole thing and whatnot. Stuff came out today with how much each team has been spending this offseason, top spenders, the least spenders. Oakland has spent exactly $0 this offseason to be an Oakland fan right now, but
they loaded their farm system.
They certainly did. Certainly did. Which is, it's cyclical with them. They load up the farm system, they get back to the playoff. It's cyclical with them.
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Cyclical. Man, I can do it all night, baby. Cyclical. What? Cyclical. What? All right. So you got the Dodgers.
A lot of spit.
As of right now, the Dodgers are sitting at 2. What? This all weird.
They already won the World Series. Just
basically, if you're the Orioles, the Baltimore Orioles as an entire team, their payroll sits right now at $30 million.
See, that's where it comes down to. That's where it gets tricky, right? Percentages are tricky, right? When you put percentages on things, it can get super tricky. So when you say you need to spend this percentage or do this percentage, you can manipulate that. It's kind of like healthcare, right? So there's a law on healthcare. You can only make to insurance companies this amount. I'm sorry, this is a baseball show, but you can only make this amount percentage of profit. So all they have to do is up their margins. And even though it's a smaller percentage, their profit goes up. So baseball is kind of the same thing, where they say, well, you have to do this type of percentage. These lower end teams, they meet the percentage, which is still super low, but then they just get tons of luxury tax thrown their way. and they're making money trying not to win. And there's got to be a
It's a
better solution.
business.
I don't
It's a
know what that
business.
solution it is, and I don't know what that
So
solution
is the
is, but there's
solution?
got to be a solution.
By the way, about 30 seconds ago, your face was positioned perfectly on the Mets logo. That you had one orange eye and one blue eye, which is what I want Scherzer to do. But we're gonna find that we're at the 109 mark, so we'll find it. But should there be a floor? Everybody's talking about, oh, these payrolls are getting crazy, the Steve Cohen tax and all this stuff. But should there be a floor? Does it take away from baseball that the Orioles are spending by the way, Trey Mancini just recovered from cancer. He doesn't need to be on a team that's $30 million for the whole thing. Let the man go to a different team where he can win a damn World Series. But the Guardians, I only said it the right way because it's right in front of me. But the Cleveland Guardians, Oakland, Arizona is $70 million. I mean, weren't they just competing a few years
but
ago?
in baseball, you can compete with that type of lineup if you have young guys that excel. In baseball, you can do that. Most likely, you don't. It takes 2 to 3 years, but in that time, you build up enough so that you can pay these guys in a small market team, like like the Marlins, supposedly a small market team. All those teams, the Guardians. Well, the Guardians, that's a big time team. But,
You know why the markets are
Tampa
the
Bay.
Marlins? Tampa Bay small market, but they maximize,
Bay
and
small
they're
market.
never in the bottom 5.
They're at $76 million. They're 24th in baseball and payroll, but we all know
$76 million
they're going to be there,
right? Because of their scouting. So you can win. You can win in baseball with good scouting, and you don't have to pay as much. I think the Mets are getting to that slowly. They're getting a better minor league system. They're producing more talent lately, so
Yeah,
they're getting
it's
there.
true. They need to spend a lot up front because of the damages before, and then eventually, over the course of time, they'll start working through their minor league talent, bringing them up, signing who's right, and bring that payroll to a more manageable thing. But I do think there should be a floor, right? Because if you're receiving a luxury tax, from all of baseball, whatever that amount is, I don't know, but it is close to exceeds your current actual payroll. That's a joke. So you're just asking the whole
Yeah.
entire rest of baseball to pay your payroll. You got to
I
also
don't really
invest.
believe in the luxuries tax. I don't really believe in that. If you want to own a major league team, you should have the money to be able to own a major league team.
The luxury tax makes sense for
That's
people who
it.
deserve it, right? So you get somebody who
Who
spends
deserves it?
320. Well, I'm going to explain that. If you're a team that spends 320 million, and you're another team, let's say in Minnesota. Minnesota is not a big market, but they're always involved. They're always trying to do the right thing, and they need a little help financially because they don't get enough fans in the park. They don't get enough advertising deals and things like that. I
they're
think
at
there's got
110 right now, even after the Correa signing.
I think there's got to be a better way to distribute the tax funds.
Put a cap.
I think
Put a
the
cap.
tax funds
Don't
right.
distribute shit.
Exactly. Or put a cap and put a floor and stop distributing.
I don't
But
want a cap, guys. I don't want a salary cap like the NBA. And
I don't want a cap either, but it is a solution.
It can be reasonable
But if
because
somebody
at the end of the day, $40 million to play second base, it's a freaking lot, man.
Yeah,
it's stupid, and
it's ridiculous.
And if you're gonna say put a floor, then a cap question is gonna come into place. But to me, it should be if you're getting a tax luxury or a tax benefit based off of the payroll, you need to invest that 100%.
remember what
So if
happened to
you
the Marlins years ago?
if you're getting $20 million in tax luxury, you need to invest that 100% plus a minimum amount, which is also a floor, but it's attached to the tax. So if you get $20 million tax, once you get that tax level, you have to hit X amount of dollars on your floor. And I think that would help. Let's say it's 50 million. Now you got 70 million. Now you got these teams that are only spending 36 million. They have to up it to 70 million.
Yep.
Well, where do you go with that? Because maybe there's not enough players in the league available to meet that, and you got to start paying players. It's a
They're overpaid
complicated
as it is.
situation. They are.
I'm glad we're not in charge of it.
I'm glad too,
I know we
because
have our opinions and stuff, but I'm glad that we're not in charge of it.
I do think
I'll make
change.
it simple. They do what I say, and that's it.
That's it. So, Dodgers, Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Padres, Red Sox, White Sox, Braves, Angels. That's and Astros. That's your top 10. But then you got you get into an area where you got really good teams that are outside the top 10 in spending. The Toronto Blue Jays might be the best team in the American League. Based on what they got going on. They're 11th in spending in payroll. The Cardinals, we know that they're always around. They're 12th.
But they weren't always like that. In the 90s,
Agreed.
they had big all stars and they paid
big
bucks.
boys.
So like that. What's that word that you like to say?
Cyclical.
Right.
Ebbs and flows.
That's what it is.
Ebbs and flows,
the next
baby.
time those big money teams will have lower payrolls because they'll have brought up their stars.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
That's the name of the game.
You don't need to be top 5, but bottom 5. You kind of have to look at that and say, why are you bottom 5? Is it just
and it's pretty consistent?
Like for me, the Guardians, it's pretty cyclical. For me, the Guardians, it's kind of justified why they're bottom 5. They just broke everything apart and they're rebuilding. I think they will spend again. So it makes sense to me that they're in the bottom right now. But some teams who just live there, you got to kind of look at that and say, what
like the Marlins.
Right, exactly, like the Marlins.
Like there are many guys out there that are making more money than the top 4, the bottom 4, sorry, in payroll. Oakland, the Guardians, Pirates, Orioles. They're at 40. Excuse me. They're at 40 or less. $40 million, and you got guys making more than that.
Listen, at the end of the day, let's see what happens at the end of the year. If any of those teams that are so badly underfunded end up in the top part of their division,
it'll be the Rays.
It can happen. It will be the Rays.
Frank just said deep down inside, I'm really Steve Cohen, but but I want to, if we can, just before we close, just out of respect for Mr. Edwin, he asked us just a quick question. We'll go round robin if that's okay. How many games do we think the Mets have to win in order to win the division or make the playoffs? I'll start.
95.
I was going to say 92 at least, because we're in a tough division.
We're starting with the division, so you're saying 92.
Well, yeah.
Or just
make it.
Remember, there's 6 teams. There's 3 division, 3 wild card. So obviously different answers for the 2. But hey, you want to start with 92 for the division?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say 92 for the playoffs. I'm going to say 96 for the division.
Rodriguez?
95 for the division. 90 for the playoffs.
I'm going to call 93 for the division. But for the playoffs, I'm thinking through some of the second place teams, because in recent years playoffs could mean 84 wins, and that was just 2 wild card spots. So you might be looking at a team that sneaks in like 2006 when the Cardinals were 82 and 80, they won the division. But I think maybe 83, 84 wins gets
this year.
Right. But you talk about the other areas. I think it could be could be 3 teams from the NL East going to the playoffs.
I see that. I can see that.
I'll say 86 for playoffs period, 93 for the division.
Yeah, so we're all in the same kind of ballpark, and that's why baseball is a game of numbers, inches, and every game counts, because look at all of our predictions. It's a game off. We could be completely off and everything.
Wait for a player.
They're always 100% right. I'm sick of
based off
saying
of
that.
what we all think. A game or two can make a big difference, and that's why I love baseball. And screw all you people that don't, because baseball is amazing.
Sorry, Keith. Terzio, don't be scared. Don't be scared of Kelly Jansen. Go on to any Dodger bulletin board. Kelly Jansen to the Braves is that for me. That's the least of our worries with the Braves.
He's 2 cheeseburgers away from retirement. Okay.
Oh wait, no! Don't start talking food again.
All right, that's what.
All right,
So
let's do it, baby. Let's close it out, baby. Keith,
We gotta eat.
let's go round robin here to close this baby off.
Yeah, so just real quick, the only Kelly we should ever be scared of is Kelly Leak, and he's not in the major league, so we're good. Let's go Mets, Fakata to the whole entire division. I think we're gonna finish second behind the Dodgers in the whole entire National League. It's because I'm cocky Braves.
He's kidding about that. We're gonna do our predictions in a couple weeks. He's not letting that
you have no idea what I'm gonna say. But yeah, let's go Mets. 100%. I just say from this point in Fakata, anything negative, I am so happy. Even these little tweaks and injuries, McCann is back and all that. It's just spring training. People get a little sore and we're careful. We are good people. Stop panicking. I'm seeing all this panic online. Let's go Mets.
They're at it already.
Stupid. Oh, McCann's got a sore back. He's a catcher. Of course his back is sore. He just got the spring camp. It's just relax. It's okay. We're okay. We got the best team in baseball.
It'll never happen.
Dodgers. You didn't see that, right?
Panic.
Frachi, you might have to edit that out. Dodgers.
Edit that out for us.
Let's go Mets. Fakata, everybody else.
He one finger saluted everybody. Listen, all right, since Keith took about 35 minutes to say goodbye, see you later. Have a good day. Let's go Mets.
It was like 35 seconds.
I just saw a Stroman tweet. Forgot about that guy. No, good news tonight. We, besides our fantastic show, but good news is that the players, whether they're vaccinated or not, we're not going to be next to the players. So I mean, if they want to take that chance, they take the chance. But they'll be able to play at home. It was dumb to me. Visitors can and home players cannot. All or nothing, and we got the all or nothing. So that's good. And we will see you guys next week. And just think. If you get into what Keith was saying before and you're thinking down and you're not thinking positively, just think that Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom just went back to back with 7 innings. deGrom 5 out of 6 outs recorded by strikeout.
35 strikeouts combined.
Scherzer, big deal. Just first start of the spring, he goes 5 innings, throws 72 pitches. Obviously, he was keeping himself in shape as he was negotiating our deal.
We could see back-to-back no-hitters with those guys. Realistically, in real life, we could see back-to-back no-hitters. When can you say
in the World Series?
We just had a little name Bassett for the
third spot. Basset Hound. The little Basset Hound.
What? You don't want to play us in a 3 and a 5 game series.
Oh my God. You guys ready to do another hour? Come on, let's
go. Terzio, our next show is probably going to be next Friday. We were going to do Fridays until opening day, but it's my fault. But I had an opening today, so we went on Wednesday. So probably be back here next Friday.
Opening every Wednesday.
Let's go. I wish. Let's go Mets. And I guess I got to close the show. Mr. Producer Joe has left the building. So